Hi guys, and welcome back to Unhinged but Healthy. So, I think if you're watching this on YouTube, I think I hit the tan goal. I got tan. I've literally been lying in that sun every hour of the day that I possibly could. And I feel like you're very tilted back today. I don't know what's wrong with this. Ooh. Is that better? Yeah. That is much better. Anyways, so today we are going to be talking about dealing with a triggered abandonment wound, feeling forgotten and irrelevant. And if you listen to me or watch me on the regular, you will know that this was me a few months ago. And if you are going through this, I would like to hope that you could find comfort in the video that I uploaded in November or December of me crying my eyes out, basically blaming myself over a situation that wasn't entirely my fault. It wasn't entirely not my fault, but also wasn't entirely my fault at all. Like I was making it out. Yeah, and that's on my digital footprint forever. So lol. Love that for me. But I would like to hope you could find comfort in that episode that I uploaded in November, December, however many months ago that was, to now. I feel so much better. I am happy again. And there's so many things that have actually come from that situation, and every situation before that has triggered, well, not every situation before that, but a lot of situations before that have triggered my abandonment wound. So yeah, you know, like there's a lot of things going on in my life right now that wouldn't have happened had I not been ghosted in November. So yeah. So where does an abandonment wound come from? Childhood. Answer is always childhood. And I feel like when you're dealing with a core wound, you kind of need to go back and look at where it originated from, and that's really difficult. It's really difficult because you have to sit there for ages, and this is something that I have been missing for absolute years, and I still don't know exactly where it came from, but I know the instances that probably caused it. I know the instances in which I used to get anxious that I would never see someone again, or that somebody left my life and I felt like I wouldn't be better off without them, or you know, when my main support system, I didn't know when I was gonna see them again. And you know, that obviously is a bit of an over exaggeration over a boy, but you know, your body doesn't know the difference. Your body's just like, oh my god, I'm being left, I'm being abandoned, it's my fault, it's me, it's completely me. And that's literally all it knows. But I'm going to speak about how I felt when I had a triggered abandonment wound, when I was fresh in it. Obviously this is going to be specific to my situation, so obviously this could be anything. It could not be related to dating at all, but I hope you can still kind of find comfort in it anyways. But how did I feel when I was triggered? I felt physically in turmoil, and every time my abandonment wound has been triggered, or like say I've seen somebody that I was once involved with a new person or something like that. That's not what happened here, but that has happened to me before. And I kind of just feel like my insides are in turmoil, like they're all swishing around, there's like this crazy party going on inside of me that I literally can't control, and it's a disgusting feeling. I literally feel like physically restless and just as if like sick, you know, just sick. I literally feel like I could go sick at any moment in time. But yes, I felt very low constantly. My heart was just heavy. Sometimes I would just feel like this pull on my heart, like some sort of like yearning, and it's quite weird to like talk about because I feel like not many people around me have the issues with self-worth that I do, that rooted from my childhood. So I can often be misinterpreted by I'm way too, what's the word, way too sensitive. I catch feelings way too fast. And you know, my standards are quite low, so not anymore, but they were. Yeah, you know, and people, you know, I've had friends say to me before, like, you're way too sensitive, like you get attached way too easily, like, and kind of like putting the blame on me almost in that situation, where it's actually a lot deeper. Like, it's not, I don't want a boyfriend so badly that I choose to get majorly attached, not even majorly, but attached to somebody that shows me an inkling of kindness. I didn't receive these things growing up. So when somebody shows them to me, I'm like, oh my God, wow. Okay, that's great. So that does exist. That does exist, and you're showing it to me, which means you're the only person in this world that has that thing that I want, and that nobody's ever really shown me before. Like, unless I really had to prove it. And then in my experience, I find it gets to a point then where, because I do end up liking someone too fast, because I'm not used to being treated nicely, the energy balance sort of switches. So then they're on the pedestal, I'm not on it anymore, and they are, and they can feel that. And then it sort of goes downhill, and then I start jumping through hoops to try and get myself back up on that pedestal, and that just drives them away even more. And you know what? That's fine. But at the time, it literally felt like hell, because I'm not somebody who is able to just let them. I wish I could, but I can't just let them. I find it really hard to just watch somebody drift off from me. I find it really difficult. Sometimes it's okay. Like, I've mentioned that in friendships, like, it's hard. I don't like when I can feel my friends drifting off from me. I do find that triggering, but I can deal with that. Like, the other day, I sort of had like, I've only got like one super close friend that I actually see. And to be honest, I wouldn't really have it any other way. But sometimes I'm like I went on a date before, and the boy was like, oh, like, so, like, you know, who are your close friends? Like, and I was like, oh, literally, like, so and so. And then he was like, that's it. And I was like, yeah. And then he was like, oh, like, do you ever ask yourself the question of like, why do you only have one friend? And I was like, that's kind of rude. This is the first time I've met you and you're trying to be my therapist. But yeah, either way, I was just like, well, no, because if those people were meant to be in my life, like, I've always cut them off. I've always been the one to sort of be like, I don't want this person in my life anymore. I've given them chance after chance after chance after chance, and I'm not someone that gives up easily. I will give someone so many chances, like literally so many chances. And yeah, you know, and the other day, like, I don't know. I just had like a realization, not even a realization, but I was just like, I saw this TikTok and it was like, oh, like your friends, like remember that your friends choose you, and I was just like, why has only one person chose me? Like why, why does only one person think I'm worth spending time with? Like why do the rest of them just, I don't know, like I'm there for them to fall on when they need a shoulder to cry on, but when they're completely fine, like they just run off with other people, or like they don't bother, they don't speak to me for months. Like, and I was a bit like, is it me? Like, and I sat there for a second, and this is how I can tell I am growing as a person, because I was like, is it me? Like, literally, like, am I annoying? Like, is there something with me? Like, am I too much? Like, do these people not like me because I'm so emotional? And I'm not scared to talk about it. And, and that's why they come to me when they need a shoulder to cry on. But then when life's good, like, they don't want me around because they think I'm a downer. Like, is that what it is? Like, and then I was like, no, because I know how to have fun. Like, and then I literally, that was me for about 5 minutes. And then I was like, no, like, every single person that has chosen to drift from me, or I've stopped making effort with because they don't appreciate the effort, like every single one, I don't really care. Like I wouldn't want to be them. I wouldn't want to be the person that they are. And I think that's what you need to look at. Like when something ends with anyone or anything, like, is that when someone thinks about you, would you want to be associated with that person? And like, would you be happy to wake up as them? And sometimes it's difficult, especially like when you are dating. Like sometimes you don't get to know people enough to know you, and this is one thing I really struggled with when my abandonment wound was triggered, was like, but it's because it's me. It's me, like he treated me this way because it's me. And I was like that with my ex. I was like that with boys I've seen since him. I was like that with boys I saw before him. I was like, they're treating me that way because it's me. And I made it a me thing, and it wasn't a me thing, it was a them thing. And even with like the last boy I was seeing, he seemed lovely, but he told me everything I needed to know about him in the way that things ended. A caring person doesn't leave somebody that they have led to believe that they care about them hanging on a question. Like, they just don't do that and then never reach out again. Could I deal with that in a relationship when things get hard? Absolutely not. But at the time I didn't see this, and I was so hung up on like, what did I do wrong? Like, how did I cause him to behave this way? Like, why has somebody else done this to me? It has to be me. Like, am I crazy? Am I too much? Did I do too much too soon? And the answer is no. You can never do too much too soon for the right person. And I haven't found the right person, so I don't know that that's true, but that is solidly what I believe. But yeah, the thoughts that were controlling me was like, everything is my fault. Like, nobody likes me because of how I am. Like, no one's ever gonna like me. I'm never gonna meet anyone, friends or romantic partner. Like, I was just like, I'm never ever gonna have new people in my life. The people that are in my life, they don't like me, they just tolerate me. Like, I'm annoying. Like, everything is my fault. Absolutely everything is my fault. It's the way I look. I don't look good enough. Like, I'm fat. Like, I would look in the mirror and I would tear myself apart every day. And I still have days like that now. And it's horrible. Like, today I'm having one of those days. Like, I'm looking in this reflector, and I'm like, my shoulders are so broad, like, you know, and it's like, that's all my thoughts were. I was miserable. I was crying all day, every day for weeks. I didn't want to see anyone. I didn't want to talk to anyone. Like, I didn't want to go to work. Like, work was so difficult. And in a way, it was a good thing, because I have such a, like, I have a role where I have to instruct people. So it's like, you know, I had to get up and I had to do it, but I was forgetting things. Like, I was forgetting things all the time. And my thoughts were just consumed by him. What had I done wrong? What does he think about me? Is that what other people think about me? Oh my God, I'm ugly. Oh my God, like, I'm a horrible person. Oh my God, I handled it so wrong, as if he hadn't handled it so wrong too, you know? And yeah, it was just horrible. And then my day-to-day life was just miserable, and it really didn't help that it was literally November, December, January, February, miserable months, you know, the blues, the winter blues. But yeah, and like, my whole thought process just became about this situation, and why didn't he like me? I felt so unworthy, and I was so upset. Like, I hadn't hurt that badly about someone since my ex, and I feel like it's always hard when it's like the first person you've properly liked since your ex. Like, that's tough. Like, that's really rough, and I didn't used to get it until now. But yeah, because I was having all of these negative thoughts, that was then reflecting back into my day-to-day life, and I was trying so hard to feel positive. But I've said this a few times in a few episodes, like, I physically couldn't generate any good feelings. Like, I was saying these nice things to myself, and everyone's like, it doesn't mean anything if you say it but you don't feel it. And I was like, I literally can't. I'm physically not capable of looking at myself in the mirror right now and feeling that I am loved and that I am beautiful, because that's not how I feel. And yeah, it was just really hard. And I feel like, as much as people say, like, you have to pull yourself out of things like this, yeah, 100% you do, but I feel like time also plays a massive factor in it. And I feel like you have to remember that you actually can't abandon yourself for someone else. Like, I feel so embarrassed now about all the people I have ever abandoned myself for, and where are they now? Where are they now? You know, like, literally nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen. Whereas the people that I have never ever had to do that for, and they have never expected me to do that for them, are the people I still have in my life. And that is a very fair few, you know? But yeah, you have to take care of yourself. And I feel like this is where I always go wrong. The second you feel that energy switch is the second you need to stop investing yourself so much in that situation, is when you need to start getting back into your hobbies, you know, focusing on you, spending time with your friends. You should be continuing to do that throughout anyway, but the second you feel that energy switch, you need to keep yourself on that pedestal and remind yourself that this is just a person. This isn't some god, like, whatever kind of relationship this is. This isn't some god that's going to save you and make your life amazing. You know who is going to make your life amazing is literally you. So you have to remember that. You get the choice here. They don't get that choice. Don't let them have that choice, you know? So yeah, just keep that energy on you, and then if things don't end well, then you know you'll be okay, because your energy was on you. And it wasn't like, oh my god, I need to text him back so that he doesn't think I'm ignoring him. Like, oh my god, like he didn't text me for like an hour, so now I have to wait an hour, and like it's just exhausting. The minute you have to play games, just leave it or pull them up on it, you know? Either way, you'll be fine either way. But yeah, just make sure you're taking care of yourself in this situation, especially if you've been in a situation where you have abandoned yourself because you wanted love again. It's gonna happen someday. I know it's difficult, especially when you feel lonely, but yeah, just make sure you're taking care of yourself. Look at the root cause of this. What are you really getting upset over? And this is something that I needed. Like, at first I was really upset about the actual person, because like I just thought, you know, he's actually like a really nice boy. Like, those are a lot of qualities that I want in a boyfriend. However, you know, I look at it now, there was also a lot of qualities there that I don't want, and you can't change somebody else's foundation. You can't change somebody else's roots, who they are. Only they can do that. And if they do that, it's very rare that they actually do that. You know, you're not going to be the person to convince them to do that, you know? And that's really hard to accept. But yeah, I was really upset about this actual person at first, and I was like, how, like, this is somebody nice has never hurt me this badly before. And I think this is probably one of the worst like feelings I've ever had, like after a situation like that. And it's been so much easier before because I can be like, oh well, he did this to me, and he said this, and he posted this, and oh my god, like he tried to do this today, and you know. And I've always sort of had that, whereas this time I didn't have anything. Like, he was nice to me until towards the end, and he didn't even do anything that bad. He just sort of faded off because he didn't have the guts to tell me that it's not what he wanted, you know. And like, that's completely fine. But yeah, it was just difficult, and I sort of had to sit there, like, after time had passed, and I was like, do you know what, like, my person wouldn't have actually done this to me, and you know, if it's meant to be, it'll be in the future. Not that it's what I want now, but at the time it is what I wanted. And I had to sort of like sit there with myself and like journal, and then when I was journaling, I had to like look at the points that I was actually crying about. Like, so I would write things down, and then at the points where I would get really upset would usually be like, oh, like, what if it's because he's speaking to his ex again? Or what if I see him with someone else and like he thinks she's worth it and he didn't think I was worth it? And those are the points when I would really cry, which then tells me that the issue here is that he didn't choose me, and my fear is then that I will see him choose someone else. And the answer to that is just mute him on everything, you know? And that's exactly what I did. And every now and then I would go and peek, did he still follow me? Has he got any stories up? Like, and I would watch them. But I feel like everyone's guilty of that, and I didn't do it as often. I've done it like 3 times. And this was months ago. But yeah, so that's what I was really getting upset about, were the things about myself and how did he perceive me. And yeah, that's literally my next point. It's not about the person, it's about how they didn't choose you like someone else didn't choose you. So, you know, like, this is how I felt throughout my childhood, for not feeling chosen by friends, by family, and then, you know, my exes. Like, I felt abandoned, and I felt like they didn't see me as worthy, and I felt like I hadn't been chosen and they'd gone for their better options, you know. And this was where I was feeling really hurt here. You know, I didn't feel chosen, I felt abandoned again, I felt like I wasn't good enough again, and I was scared that I would then see him with somebody that he saw as worthy. And eventually it wasn't about the person anymore, and for a very long time it was about him, and I did think it was about him. But then I kind of had to come to terms with the fact that, and this is something I've never had to do before, because like I said, like everyone that I've seen, or like my old friends, have always done things where I've been like, well, do you know what, I wouldn't actually want anything to do with that person anyway, and like, why would I want someone that would treat me like that? And this time I really had to sort of be like, well, he didn't put in the effort that I would have wanted, and you know, maybe he didn't actually like me, and that's okay. Like, that's okay. Like, that used to kill me to say that, but maybe he didn't like me, and that's okay. You know, that's completely fine. Like, maybe I did give him the ick, that's okay. Like, that again used to kill me to say. Like, that's okay, that's fine. You know, like, I wouldn't give my person the ick. The ick doesn't exist when you really, really like or love someone, you know? But yeah, so after time, like when I finally came to terms with the fact of like, I wouldn't want someone that could do that to me. I don't want someone that runs away from conflict, and I'm not going to give him the benefit of the doubt of like, well, maybe he wouldn't do that to someone else. He's only doing it because it's me. What did I do that was so bad that deserved that? You know, nothing. Like, yes, maybe I didn't handle the situation correctly, but you owe someone. Like, and this is what my counsellor said to me, because I spoke to her about it after it happened. I was owed that reason. I didn't deserve to be met with silence. I didn't deserve to be left wondering what I did wrong, when it was most likely probably nothing to do with me. And the same goes for you. You didn't deserve that, you know? But yeah, and it all just sort of comes down to this root cause of like, you don't feel chosen, and you feel abandoned again, just like you did before, for whatever reason. And then it kind of makes you feel a bit better, because you're like, well, actually, it's not entirely about this person, and it is something much deeper than I thought it was. And in a way, it's kind of like a breath of fresh air, because then you can learn how to deal with it. Comparison to others is the thief of joy. And this sort of comes with like, when you do, or maybe you're comparing yourself to someone's ex. I fell victim to that after this. I literally would like her stories, and like not look at her posts, but I was looking at her. I've never like seen somebody where I know who their exes are before, so I was just like looking at these posts all the time, and like I knew who she was before. I didn't really rate her, like, and not in a nasty way. I don't say that in a nasty way, like, just not my type of person, you know? And that's fine. You're not for everyone, not everyone's for you. But yeah, and then I just became sort of like obsessed, and I was like, how can I be like her? Like, no, girl, no, please, just be your own person, okay? But yeah, or like, you're comparing yourself to the next girl, and like, this has also been me, and it's like, you know, and I'm like, I have to be better than them. I have to look better than them. I have to be a nicer person than them. I have to be doing more than them. No, I don't. They are their own people, and it doesn't matter if they're nice. Not everybody that's involved with your ex before or after you has to be a bad person. Sometimes they are genuinely nice people, just like you've been involved with people's exes, and hopefully you're a genuinely nice person. Like, you know, you don't need to create flaws in these people. You don't need to compare yourself to these people. You don't need to be better than these people. You know, there's no need. Like, this boy or whoever, like, going after all these people, it doesn't matter. Again, he's not a god. Like, him choosing someone doesn't make them the best person in the world, just like you choosing someone does not make them the best person in the world. And you absolutely have to remember this. And like, them seeing someone as better than you, or at least like that's how I was thinking, like, it's actually got nothing to do with you. Like, it's literally got nothing to do with you. It's just that you still have feelings for this person. Like, I saw this boy that I used to go on dates with when I was younger with a girl in his car the other day, and if I'd have seen that 2 years ago, I would have been heartbroken because he didn't choose me, but he's chosen her, you know? Now I don't care because I don't have feelings for him anymore, you know? And I don't, you know, like, it's just because you have feelings for this person, like, that's literally it. Like, one day you won't have those feelings anymore, like, when enough time has passed, when you've done enough work, when you will not be attracted to them anymore, because bare minimum is not effort, like, you know, then you could see them with someone else and you wouldn't even care. Like, right now, the thought of the last person I was seeing with someone else still isn't very nice, but I will get to a point where I wouldn't care, you know? Like, with my ex, like, I wouldn't care now, and that's something I never thought I'd say. Even a year ago, I never thought that was something that I would say. So yeah, comparison is the thief of joy. Ignorance is bliss, in my opinion. Just don't even look for it. And if you do just see it, like I've just seen it sometimes, it's a tough one. It is actually really tough. Just don't compare yourself to this person. Their relationship is not your relationship. Them being with someone else doesn't take away from what you had at the time, okay? Don't look at yourself through this person's lens. There's so many people who love you. Don't focus on the ones who don't. And this saying literally got me through my breakup with my ex. Like, I was so heartbroken over that at the time. And this is something I was really guilty of this latest time as well. Like, I was just looking at myself through all these assumptions that I had made based off of how I thought he saw me now. And I was like, he thinks I'm weird, he thinks I'm ugly, he thinks I'm fat, like, he thinks I'm so strange, like, he literally can't bear to be around me because I'm so annoying. Like, and then instantly I became weird and ugly and agitating and annoying and confusing, and I was just like, oh my god, like, I felt all of these things about myself, like, I felt it so deeply. And I was like, do you know what, like, he hasn't said any of this to me, and even if that is how he feels, it's probably just something he's making up in his head because he doesn't want to face the situation, he doesn't want to face me. And I just had to, like, throughout so many situations in my life where I felt like this, I've had to be like, there's so many people who love me, don't focus on the ones who don't. Because why would you? Like, one person, you're focusing on that one person who doesn't see your value, you know? Like, there's so many people around you. Like, I see love every day. I see love from my grandparents, you know? I see love when I spend time with my best friend nearly every day. I see love when I go to work and I see people feel better the minute that they walk out that door after they've done that class. I see love when I go to classes and I walk out feeling better. Like, I see love every day, and you don't need to get it from that one person, and eventually enough time will pass for you to see that. And sometimes, again, as much as you have to do the work and you have to focus on why you're feeling this way and figure out why you're feeling this way, as much as I agree with that, I also do think time is a massive healer. So yeah, don't look at yourself through that lens because you don't even know what their lens is. Even if they have said something to you, you don't believe everything that everyone says, you know? Dive into self-concept work until you believe it. And this is so true. And as much as people say, like, it doesn't matter what you say in your head until you actually feel it. Ooh. As much as that is true, you have to keep saying it to yourself to eventually feel it, if that makes sense. And it's a tough one because I feel like one day I was just down here and then the next day I was sort of at a baseline, and the next day I was just sort of up here. And it's really difficult to feel when that transition happened. And I feel at first, and this is gonna sound cray, but if you're watching this, I feel like you're probably on my vibe. I at first pretended that he was coming back, lol. So I had pretended, I'd written in my notes a text message from him, and I just imagined that he'd actually sent that to me. And I was on cloud nine. I was literally on cloud nine. I was like, he's come back, he's come back. He has in fact not come back, lol. And that's fine. That's completely fine. But yeah, so this is what I did, and I lived every day as if he had come back, and I felt really actually very good. And then I was like, wait, but, because the buts always creep into my mind when it comes to stuff like this. And I was like, I don't actually want to be feeling on cloud nine about this when he could possibly get another girlfriend or a girlfriend or something, and then I'll find out about it, and then like I'll just come crashing down and be back where I was before. And then I was like, I've actually been feeling really good, and I've been feeling that way without him, without a text from him. I made myself feel like that, you know. I don't need it from him, you know. And that is when I sort of started to feel good again. And then I was like, actually, I'm okay without him. And yeah, and then that's when I sort of realised, which is kind of ironic, isn't it, was that I'd imagined that he'd come back. And then when I was like, actually, like, this could hurt me way more, and I don't actually think, I kind of feel like I dodged a bullet in a way, actually. Yeah, and then I was like, I've been making myself feel this way without him anyway, so I don't need him, and life kind of is beautiful and happy, and the sun's out, and I don't need a boy. But yeah, another thing as well, if you want to post something on your story for them, don't do it. This was my rule. If I post something because I want them to see it, I don't post. And if I post something and I'm like, I don't want to be annoying, I shouldn't post, because like, what if they think I'm posting too much? I post it, because why do I care what they think? A person who has removed themselves from my life doesn't deserve that space in my mind to care what they think. But yeah, so that's how I started feeling better again. However, if you have better self-worth than I did, you could probably get there by not doing that. But yeah, so eventually then I started feeling good, and I was like, I'm actually great. Like, who wouldn't want to be with me? Like, I am actually fun, and I do actually have fun, and I love fun, cool things, and I love great music, and I have great style, and I'm a kind person, and I'm actually great and amazing and all these beautiful things, and anyone would actually be lucky to have me. So yeah, your loss, isn't it? And then I started to believe those things about myself, and I still have down days, don't get me wrong, ebbs, flows. But yes, you also need to dive into self-love and looking after yourself. And I've said this so many times, and I'll preach it until the cows come home. You have to look after yourself the most when you don't want to do it. Like, when I didn't want to get out of bed and brush my teeth in the morning, when I didn't want to oil my hair and shower, when I didn't want to do my washing and clean my room, that is when I really needed to do those things. When I didn't want to read, when I didn't want to journal, when I didn't want to meditate, when I didn't want to wash my face and look after my skin, when I didn't want to go to the gym, when I didn't want to eat well, that is when I needed to do it the most, and it's like, you can't abandon yourself. Like, I remember before, when I was living in Cardiff, and I said to my cousin, like, I was with my ex at the time, and I was like, yeah, like, she was like, what were you gonna do today? Like, me and my ex had this massive fight. Like, she came over, I was crying my eyes out. Like, she was like, what were you gonna do today before this happened? And I was like, clean my room, like, shower, like, you know, like go food shopping, like. And she was like, and what have you done today? I was like, sit in my bed and cry. I was like, I was meant to write my dissertation and I just couldn't do it. And she was like, so you've just completely abandoned yourself because you don't know how this person feels about you currently. And I was like, yeah, basically, yeah. And she was like, right, well, you can't do that. You need to get up. You need to do something to maybe focus your mind. You need to clean your room. You need to clean your space. You need to go out for food. You need to cook yourself something good. You need to go to the gym. Then, when your mind's a bit more focused and centered, you know, you need to write your dissertation because you can't let your future or your day-to-day life be in the hands of a boy. You can't. You absolutely cannot. Do not abandon yourself and your healthy girly pop lifestyle for a boy because you don't know how he feels about you. You don't know how he feels about you. Great, bye. See you. See another one in 15 minutes. No, 15 seconds. But yes, just look after yourself and show yourself love and be kind to yourself when you don't want to. That is when you need to do it most. Journal about it. And yeah, I kind of hadn't journaled in a while. Like, I journal every day, but like actually writing down like in depth about things, about how I feel about things, not just like what I've done today, how I felt today, like what am I grateful for, what am I going to do today, what ifs, like all of that, like affirmations and all that jazz, which are very important if you're feeling like this, are affirmations. Joe Dispenza meditations as well. Really good. I've actually been reading Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and I'm doing the meditations at the moment, and they're actually really helping, and the feeling I'm actually focusing on is unworthiness. And yeah, really enjoying. But yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, so just journal. Like I hadn't actually like journaled like that in a while, and I used to do it quite often. And I just sort of like was writing down like how I felt, like how, like what was I actually upset about, and like all of this. Oh my god, I had a massive bowl of pasta before I filmed this. But yeah, anyway, so, and I would just like write down like how I felt about this boy, like how the situation had left me feeling, like why I thought he'd done that to me, like. And then the points where I would get really, really upset kind of like highlighted to me patterns that I've been going through, you know, same boys, different fonts, you know, like how they were getting better every time, but I still hadn't gotten to the point where like I had very high standards yet. But yeah, just like I said earlier, like, and then the points where I get really upset about things, and it wasn't just about him, like there was other things going on in my life too, where I would get really upset. I'd be like, right, now this is an area I need to focus on because this is clearly triggering me if I'm getting so upset about it. And a lot of it was to do with me, with my self-worth, why they didn't think I was worthy of their time and things like that. And yeah, so that highlighted a lot to me, was journaling about it and really sitting there with my feelings and sitting there with the things in my childhood that happened for me to feel like this, and sort of like coming to terms with it all. But it definitely helps. Speaking to people about it also helps. I did feel quite alone in this situation. A lot of my close surrounding people like either had things going on or they didn't understand it. Like, not a lot of my close people are anxious like me, anxiously attached, and they couldn't really, maybe not empathize, but couldn't really understand how I was feeling. You know, I got told a lot that like I was too sensitive, just move on to the next, like, you know, I made it bigger than it was, and it was really hard to hear. Like, it was really difficult to hear. Like, in the end, I literally resorted to texting my old counsellor and speaking to her about it, and I recorded the session, and I would just listen to it back whenever I needed the reminder from her. But yeah, and like she was the first person I felt that like really validated how I felt about this and really kind of like gave me insight because she could understand, because she knows everything and she knows me like that, you know. And I really needed that, and yeah, I did pay £50 just to sort of vent on a one-off, but it actually really helped me. But yeah, like if you have people that can understand around you, or you do have a counsellor or a therapist, like highly recommend, like, because the more you speak about it, the more you get it out of your system. And I feel like journaling isn't an alternative to that, but if you feel a bit alone in it like I did, and you were kind of surrounded by people that couldn't understand, like, yeah, journaling is great, but obviously it's nice to be validated by other people as well. Look at the lesson you're being taught here and try and stick with it. And this is the thing, I feel like I was being given this lesson time and time again, like tested, like, do you value yourself? Do you value yourself? Like, do you value your time? Like, will you put yourself first? Like, you know, and I was being given this lesson time and time again, like, you know, like, do you feel worthy? Like, will you see these red flags and actually leave? Like, you know. And there was just so many lessons, and this time I actually looked at the lessons and the red flags, and it's the first time I've ever actually done it. Like, before, I've always just kind of gotten over the person and then left the situation be, whereas this time I really kind of analysed it and analysed my behaviour instead of his. And yeah, it really helped. You know, it was really difficult. I've had a really hard few months up until recently, and only recently am I starting to feel like myself again. And it's actually really nice. Like, I actually feel, and I obviously know I'm never going to go back to any past version of myself, but I'm actually starting to feel like, kind of in a weird way, like untouched, like a new person, like kind of like the person I was before I met any of these people that have really, really hurt me. And it's actually really nice. Like, I feel like I'm actually growing up, and I feel like I'm actually learning my lessons, and I feel like I'm actually putting myself first and caring about myself more than I'm caring about other people for the first time in my life. And none of this would have happened hadn't all of these people done me the way that they did, you know. And as much as it hurt at the times when these things were happening to me, and I was playing victim, and I was crying, and, you know, not feeling worthy, and it may happen again, I hope it doesn't, but it could. Like, yeah, you know, at the time I didn't see the good sides of it, but now I do. And if you'd have told me a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago that I would be saying this, I would absolutely say to you, like, no, I'm heartbroken. I'm so heartbroken. I'm never going to be okay again. Like, I'm so abandoned. No one is ever going to want me. No one's ever going to love me. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, when you love yourself, it really doesn't matter. And I feel like that's where you have to get to. Self-love prevails, and anything outside of that is just a bonus. And the second it stops serving you, you're fine. You know, you'll be fine. No one can do anything for you that you can't do for yourself. But yes, so that is how I dealt with my triggered abandonment wound and feeling forgotten and irrelevant. You know, it's all to do with you. It leads back to your childhood when you originally felt that way. And yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. It's tough. But you just have to remind yourself, like, you are worthy. And as long as the people that matter see that, they don't even have to see it. You know, they don't matter, you know, if they don't see it. and it's like they are making you feel this way. No one is gonna forget about you, you know. You don't want these people in your life if they make you feel that way. You literally don't want them in your life. Anyone that makes you feel that way is not worthy of being in your life. And if they come back, you know, but yeah, it's anyone who makes you feel that way is not worthy of your time. And yeah, I hope this episode helped. Love you lots. Bye.